Hit pause and check your answers to 11-7, and then hit play and we will continue. Today we're going to be multiplying and dividing radicals. There's only 3 rules. Multiply and divide any coefficients, and multiply and divide anything inside the square root and simplify. We're going to do 3 and then you're going to do 3. The main rules you need to remember: if it's under the square root, you can multiply. And if it's outside, so because 3 and 15 are under the square root, you get the square root of 3 times 15, which is the square root of 45. You still must simplify using your perfect squares. 45 is divisible by 9. It's really 9 times 5. The square root of 9 is 3, so your answer is 3 root 5. You always and forever must simplify. So whenever you have 2 root 7 quantity squared, you can just write it as 2 root 7 times 2 root 7. Multiply what's on the outside. 2 times 2 is 4. And on the inside, 7 and 7, the square root of 49. Well, the square root of 49 is 7, so you get 4 times 7, which is 28. Let's look at number 3. Number 3, multiply inside. 3 is only multiplied by 1, so it stays 3. 5 times 40 is 200. T times t is t squared. 200 is divisible by 100. So 3 times 100 times 2 times t squared. The square root of 100 is 10, so you have 3 times 10 times the square root of t squared is t root 2. 3 times 10 is 30 t root 2 for your final answer. Hit pause and try the next questions, and then I'll show you the final answers. Here they are. For number 1, you should have had the square root of 50, which is 25 times 2 to get 5 root 2. For number 2, I would have actually written this as 3 root 10 times 3 root 10, and you would have had 3 times 3 is 9. Square root of 100, the square root of 100 is 10, 9 times 10 is 90. 7 times 8 is 56, x times x was x squared. 56 was 4 times 14, the square root of 4 was 2. The square root of x squared gave you x, and then you multiplied to get 12x. Let's try one of my favorite things, distribution. It's nothing new. You just have to remember, if it's under the square root, you can multiply. If it's outside, it must stay outside separately. So number 1, I'd have the square root of 3 times 6 is 18. Minus, I cannot multiply because 2 is not under the square root. So it stays 2 root 3. They cannot actually multiply to become 6 because he was outside and he was inside. But 18 is divisible by 9. It's 9 times 2. So you get 3 root 2 minus 2 root 3. If you could simplify, if 2 and 3, if they were the same, you could subtract, but they are not. They're not like terms, so that's your answer. Number 2, distribute your square root of 6. They're both underneath, so you get the square root of 12. Minus, again, they're both underneath, you get the square root of 18t. Both 12 and 18 can be simplified. The square root of 12 is divisible by 4. So I did 4 times 3. The square root of 4 is 2. So you get 2 root 3. 18 is divisible by 9. 9 times 2 t. The square root of 9 is 3. So you get minus 3 square root of 2t. Again, they're not like terms, so you're done. Number 3, you get to do double distribution. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times the square root of 5 just stays positive 2 root 5. Negative square root of 5 times 7 is negative 7 root 5. Negative root 5 times positive is negative square root of 25. Let's do some simplification. I'm going to simplify the square root of 25. It's really just minus 5. I also know that these are both root 5, so positive 2 minus 7 is negative 5 root 5, and I still have my 14 out front. Last but not least, 14 minus 5 is 9 minus 5 root 5. So you always have to keep simplifying. If you have a perfect square, you must simplify it. If you have like radicals, you have to simplify and combine them. You try the next three. Okay, you should have had square root of 25, 8 root 5. Square root of 25 is 5, can't combine anymore. They're both underneath, 7 and 7 is 49. 7 times 7 gave you 49. 7 times 5 gave you 35. Neither can be simplified, there's your answer. Then you had to do your double distribution. 3 root 2, 3 times 4 is 12. Positive 2 root 2, positive root 2 is positive root 4. Root 2 and 4, 4 stays on the outside, root 2 on the inside. Then the square root of 4 is 2. 12 plus 2 gave you 14. And then you had 3 root 2 and 4 root 2 became 7 root 2. Now we're going to divide. There is one huge rule. You cannot have a square root in the denominator. Well, how do you get rid of it, you might ask? Well, if you ever multiply a number by 1, 3 times 1, well, it equals 3. 4 times 1, it equals 4. Well, isn't 3 over 3 the same thing as 1? Isn't 4 over 4 the same thing as 1? So if I multiplied 3 times 3 over 3, don't I still get 3? It's the same answer. You are going to multiply by the square root. So you multiply by the square root over the square root of whatever is in your denominator. So for this case, I'm going to multiply times the square root of 5 over the square root of 5. So we get the square root of 15 over the square root of 25, which is the square root of 15 over 5. And I'm simplified. Let's do number 2. Times the square root of 3 over the square root of 3. We get the square root of 33 over the square root of 9. Well, the square root of 9 is a perfect square. You get the square root of 33 over 3. These cannot simplify because this is inside the square root. It is not actually 33. Number 3, this time you have a b. So you have to multiply by both 32 and b. Both the square root of 32b. Well, 5 times 32 is going to give you the square root of 160b divided by, if you started to notice, when you multiply root 5 and root 5, you ended up with 5. Root 3 and root 3 gave you 3. So I wonder, and it's true, root 32b and root 32b is just 32b. But you still need to simplify up here. 160 is divisible by a perfect square. 160 is really 16 times 10b over 32b. The square root of 16 is 4. So you get 4 root 10b over 32b. You cannot cancel your b's because this is the square root of b and that's regular b. But you can simplify the 4 and the 32 because they're both outside. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 32 divided by 4 is 8. So your final answer is the square root of 10b over 8b. Let's do a quick one. You try number 4 and number 5 on your own. You should have had root 6 over root 6, which was root 30 over 6. 30 is not divisible by a perfect square. Times root 2 over root 2. You get root 20 over 2, but 20 can be simplified. 20 is really the square root of 4 times 5 over 2. The square root of 4 is 2. 2 root 5 over 2. They can simplify to get a final answer of the square root of 5. Now you try the next 3, and then I'll show you the answers. Number 1, multiplied by root 7 over root 7. 2 times 7 is 14. 7 7 is 49. Root 14 over 7. Multiplied by both root 5 and root 5, and you get root 70 over 5. When you multiplied by root 50x over root 50x, you got the square root of 100x over the square root of 2,500x squared. The square root of 100 is 10, and your x stayed underneath. The square root of 2,500 was 50. X squared was x. So 10 and 50, 10 became a 1, 50 became a 5. So you get root x over 5x.